Hey, in this video I want to give you 5 most common dirt bike shifting mistakes and also teach you how to avoid them. The first dirt bike gear changing mistake I see riders are doing is that they are either on a too high gear or too low gear. So your dirt bike engine is made to work in a way that the most power is coming from a certain RPM level. If your dirt bike gear is too low and your RPMs are too high, you will not get the power out of it. So you will get the power to a certain RPM level, and then if it goes above, your dirt bike engine loses power. And same thing applies when you are too high gear, your RPMs are too low and the engine just doesn't have the power, the strength to carry you on properly. So you need to be on this right RPM level. So make sure that once your RPMs are going too high, change the gear up. If your RPMs are too low, change the gear down. The second mistake I see riders are doing when changing gear is that riders do not shift gear in the air of a jump. So obviously it's really important to change gear in the air, especially if you have a corner right after the jump. So if you are going into the air, you need to click one gear down in order to be on the right gear when going into the corner. If you don't change the gear in the air, you land and then you're starting to change the gear, you will lose time and you will lose speed with it. So it makes sense to already change the gear down in the air if you have to take the corner. The second example is that if you're going into the jump out of the corner, then you are on the low gear. When you come out of the corner, you go into the jump and you have a straight line after jump, change the gear up in the air. Then you are already can ram the throttle when you land and you are on the right gear, and you don't have to start changing gear when you land, because this makes sure that you don't lose this precious time. The third mistake I see riders are doing when they change gear is that they change gear right before the jump. This is not a good idea, because if you're going to the jump, you want to have a smooth throttle, smooth speed, and you want to have the body in the right balance already before the jump. You don't want to mix it up before the jump, because then if you lose the balance before the jump in the air, you can be in the very bad position. And if you gear down or gear up right before the jump, you lose this smooth throttle, smooth speed, smooth carry on to the jump, and this can result also in the bad position in the air and even can cause you some bad crash. So it's not very good idea to change gear right in the face of the jump. So when you're right on the face of the jump, you want to be smooth, you want to have the smooth delivery in order to have the smooth jump as well. The fourth mistake riders are doing when they change gear is that they have either too high or the too low gear in the corner. So corner is not the place where you want to change the gear, especially if the corner is left corner, then obviously your leg is out and you can't change the gear. So you need to make sure that when you're entering the corner, you are already on the right gear. That's not time to start changing gear. And if you are in the too low gear in the corner, obviously your bike doesn't have enough power because the RPMs are going too high. And quite bad option is also when you have too high gear, your RPMs are too low, your engine doesn't have the power, and you need to start compensating with the clutch. And with the clutch also, you need to understand the clutch quite well. You need to know how it reacts in the corner. So if you are in too high or too low gear, fact is that you don't have the perfect corner, you don't have the smooth delivery out of the corner. So when you are in the corner, you need to be in the right gear already. And the fifth final mistake I see a lot of riders are doing is that when they gear up, they don't use enough clutch, or they use the clutch incorrectly. So obviously, if you gear up, you need to use clutch in order for the gearbox to work properly, for the gear to set in properly. So you need to use clutch when you're gearing up. But if you use the clutch too much, for example, you're grabbing the clutch in, changing the gear up, then you can lose potentially a lot of time, a lot of speed with it. And if you don't use clutch, I've seen riders ramming the gear in. It's really painful to hear, and then you need to use a little bit clutch. You need clutch to help to get the gear in when you gear up. So if it's a straight line, you need to be wide open. It's good to, it's called power shifting. You need to gear up, you're on the full throttle and you use a little bit clutch. So this way, if you use a little bit clutch, you can be on the throttle, you don't lose any momentum, any speed, but you can still get the gear in quite well. So use clutch when you gear up. So these were the 5 dirt bike gear changing mistakes. I hope you enjoyed the video and that by now you have subscribed to my YouTube channel as well. If you want to start learning motocross properly, I have really good news to you. I have just launched my 7-step video online course about dirt bike riding techniques called 7 Techniques for Winners. In this proven methods course, I'm teaching you all the techniques you need to understand, need to know in order to ride fast, safe and with much more confidence. I would love to see you in this course, and I've added a link to my video description that takes you there. And also you will find this huge discount offer that I have for this course right now. I'm so confident of my methods and I want you to be part of them. So click the link and see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.